Let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about Utah Jazz basketball.
Roll the intro.
So let's go ahead and get on into it, man. When it comes to the Utah Jazz, we have a couple subjects we want to hit on. Once again, folks, as a reminder, this channel is a new channel, Utah Jazz DNA, one of our fastest growing channels, one of the fastest growing Utah Jazz channels in the game. So be sure to check us out at Utah Jazz DNA on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Hit that notification bell, because once we hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel, we'll be giving away one of those sick new Utah Jazz road jerseys. And again, as always, smash that like button for AJ over there. The first topic that we want to talk about today is going to be Isaiah Collier, man. So one of the highlights of the fact that, McKinley, to your point there, of this team continuing to lose, they did get a loss on the road to Charlotte, I believe. But something great happened, man. Isaiah Collier passed John Stockton for the most assists given out by a rookie player, which happened in the 1984 to 85 season. So it's been 40 years.
40 years is insane.
That is nuts.
That is a long time. And also 84, 85 does not feel like it was 40 years ago.
Yeah. I was going to say 20 years ago. So
yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
20 years sounds much better. Like 40 years ago.
Yeah. When
Darren, you're getting old, man.
Dude, my knees hurted when I said that. I'm just saying. Collier produced 17 points, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 rebounds, and blocked 1 shot. And I heard, rumor has it, that he also sold a bag of popcorn. In the 110-106 loss in the Spectrum Center, he finished 6 for 11 in shooting from the field in 32 minutes. The Jazz finished the March with a record of 1-16. As a reminder, Isaiah Collier was Rookie of the Month in February.
Yeah, and the fact is at 1-16, it may sound a little daunting, but that was right where we wanted to be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like we could have gone for 0-17 and been perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, we would have been.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the update. I'm glad that the Wizards did lose, because that 1-game buffer, we might need that. We can't win any more games this season.
Yes. No, we need to keep it, because I don't think anybody else.
Realistically, we have the same chances. As long as you're in the bottom 3, you all have a 14% chance of the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Pistons.
We can't take any chances.
Right. I think the Pistons were been in the top 3 like 5 years in a row, and they've never gotten above pick 4.
Yeah. So that would hurt my soul. I would cry, actual live tears.
Yeah. We'll definitely get into the draft here in a little bit, because that's definitely a subject we want to talk about. But yeah, man. So this 29th pick reached 419 assists on the season with his performance, surpassing Hall of Fame John Stockton back in 1984-85. He's the first rookie to dish out over 400 assists since John Morant.
Oh, no way.
2019-2020.
Okay, so he's been pretty productive. I like that.
Yeah,
I like to hear that.
It's not just a Jazz stat, man. I think he's been extremely productive in his limited minutes. He's averaging 8.3 points a game, 6.2 assists per game, 3.5 rebounds, and he also is 42% shooting from the field. Yeah, man, I've really been impressed with him so far. I definitely think when we talked about him earlier, we kind of coined him the steal of the draft.
We did.
Which is something we definitely want to get into, because I think we have an argument for that with a couple guys on this team this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's totally kind of starting to look that way. And I think what is most impressive about this team and about this statistics, like very specifically, is this team's lost a lot of games this year.
Yeah.
And the only way you lose a lot of games is with really poor shooting. Imagine when you get him on the floor with players that can actually shoot the basketball.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you get Laurie in there and you get Colin Sexton and you get guys back that can actually catch and shoot it. Like Isaiah Collier could have another 400 assist season next year very easily.
Oh, easily. Especially if he's starting point guard still.
Yeah, which I mean, he very well could be. I think a move for Keontae to that backup 2 role is probably imminent. Especially if you bring Colin Sexton back next year. So, I mean, there's room in this lineup for a player that is as aggressive, and he obviously has great vision on the floor. Isaiah Collier is he's doing all the right things. He got a chance to play. He came out there. He proved himself. Coach Hardy loves him. Obviously the fan base loves him. I mean, he's gotten a ton of, respect from a bunch of senior players that are, kind of around the NBA. So you just can't help but appreciate the effort this guy puts in night in and night out.
Oh, man. You absolutely love to see it, man. You love to see it. Do you think he makes a NBA All-Rookie team this year?
I don't know if his shooting percentages are good enough for him to make All-Rookie.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I honestly don't know if the other players' shooting percentages are much better. I mean,
That's kind of where I was sitting at. I'm like, I don't know if anybody's jumping out at me as a rookie guard this year that's just shooting lights out.
yeah,
I think his stat line overall, with how many assists, rebounds, and what he's averaging as far as a full stat line, has been pretty impressive.
yeah.
It's a shame though to think that this team, when it's competing, probably is not going to have him as the point guard. It's just a shame the rookie that broke the Stockton's rookie record is not going to be the guy who's going to be your long-term point guard for the future. But hey, we could be wrong. He still has a chance to prove it.
We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. Will Isaiah Collier be the point guard of the future? Chime in, guys. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. So we got a couple comments we want to hit here before we get to our next subject here. We've got a couple from McKinley Cutler. We've got this first one here that says, man, the Kings are terrible. Can't even beat the Wizards. Nice. We got Greg Hawkins jumping in. Jazz blown out by the Rockets. Can't wait to get this 4th pick.
Greg, don't you dare even speak that into existence.
Yeah, but that's like right on point.
Don't.
Yeah.
You don't even support Greg in this, okay, Darren?
I don't want to support Greg in it. I'm just speaking to the historical accuracy of that statement. The Utah Jazz have never gone up in odds with the draft. Never. And they've only gone down, and they've held fast on their spot since the lottery pick about like less than 30% of the time.
What we need is someone to call Adam Silver and be like, hey, you really owe us one.
Put the envelope in the freezer like you did for the Knicks.
Yeah, like we need it.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely do. And I really think that this is going to be an option for the Jazz this year to really take advantage of it. You got 3 potential all-star players in the top of this draft. So
yeah,
it should be pretty easy for the Jazz to be happy with that. But yeah, I agree.
But we want Cooper.
Yeah. We also have another comment here from McKinley. Nah, man, knowing the Jazz luck, the league is going to rig it. I'm going down to 5. Guys, both of you. Oh, it's killing me. Probably true. We also have another comment here. It's also nice to see Flip above 40% from 3 for the year. Shooting is above 50% after the All-Star break. Yes, so that's the other player that we actually want to highlight as far as the steal of the draft, because he did slide to the 2nd round for this team.
Yeah.
So that will be in a future episode. So be sure to tune in for that. Stay tuned for that for sure. We also have another comment here from McKinley saying, what's crazy about Stockton made that record by coming off the bench, playing way less minutes than Collier did. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he didn't start. Who was playing in front of him? I can't remember.
I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive in that season, so
all right, rub it in, dude. Rub it in.
Yeah,
I was alive, but still,
you were alive, so you should have that statistic in your head.
I really should. Really should. Losing a lot of games, really poor shooting, and quote unquote injuries. Yeah, those air quotes, man, couldn't not be more on point there. It makes.
Well, mine were air quotes. His were actual quotes because they were on the screen.
Yes, I think. Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for keeping me honest there.
I got you, bro.
I think he makes the all-rookie team. This draft class is truly terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe him and Cody Williams both make it.
Yep. Oh, you're right. You're right, McKinley. It was Ricky Green. Nice call. Thanks for bailing me out there for sure. But once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are when it comes to Isaiah Collier breaking the Jazz record. We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Before we move on to that, we want to talk about the draft because we did mention this. Now, there is an article on SI.com about the Jazz, particularly potentially picking up Walter Clayton Jr. This article is about the 6'3", 195-pound senior coming out of Florida. He's averaging 19.8 points per game while shooting 46% for the floor, 45.3% from 3 range. ESPN has his stats a little bit lower than what SI had at 44.5 from the floor and 18.8 points, respectfully. So there's some mismatches on stats there. But
how do you miss that?
I don't know, dude. Like
how do you report different statistics than somebody else?
I can understand like odds makers, like when we're doing the odds, like the over-unders when we're doing college football.
Yeah.
Like I can understand those not being on because sometimes they update differently.
But when you're talking just straight statistical data, that doesn't make sense.
Yes, it doesn't make sense for me at all. So yeah,
I'm insulted.
There's a little bit of confusion there, and just let you know, your boy did his research and found several. So I'm on point on it.
That's what I'm talking about. And just so you know, this guy is a stud. He's kind of, I mean, he's been compared to like Steph Curry. That's like kind of what they brought up in this article, right? He's just got known for clutch shooting. He's very humble. It says that like directly in the article. He's very, very humble for about the comparison. Now, Steph
Did you
Curry,
see the interview when they asked him that question?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, he's like, well, his statement was, very much like, oh, that's a great comparison. That's a lot to live up to. I'm not there, so he's very humble. But anyway, what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just great though. This kid's got, he's got the intangibles. He plays with toughness. He's competitive, and this is kind of exactly. I mean, a great shooting guard at 6'3" is exactly what the Jazz are going to need moving forward. That is, it's tough to say. It's also very unlikely that Isaiah Collier ever meets those shooting percentages. He is more of a head down, go to the basket kind of player. Obviously, he has a great assist percentage, but Walter Clayton Jr. also has a career 22.8% assist percentage. So he can also facilitate. He moves well without the ball in his hands. This guy's just a great fit. I mean, he really would be a great fit. I know you dislike anybody that's under like 6'7" as a point guard. So I want to hear your thoughts on do the Jazz need a 6'3" point guard, even if he can shoot?
No, we don't. We have plenty of people that are under 6'5" on this team. We don't need another. Unless you're planning on Isaiah Collier not working out, we don't need to bring in a senior who is obviously at his height that he's going to be. Like, he's not growing anymore. Like, when you're a senior in college, you're at your height. You're not getting any taller.
Probably playing some of your best ball.
Probably playing some of your best ball. Well, coming into your best ball anyway.
Yeah.
He does have a chance to improve. But while he is improving his draft stock based off his performance in the tournament, most scouts are picking him to slide down to Utah in the second round because nobody likes to pick older players. Like, that's their main reason.
Look at Dalton Connect, though. That kid moved way up. I mean, it was like 8 years that he played for college basketball, and then he ended up at Tennessee for a couple of years. And I mean, Dalton Connect was a player we both were okay with the Jazz taking.
Still mad they
obviously ended up being a pretty good pickup for the Lakers.
Yeah, still mad they didn't. But I kind of like our picks too.
Yeah, but I mean, some of these senior players do end up being, like exactly what you thought they were going to be in the NBA, because they do have NBA ready bodies. They have played enough and seen enough. Now, do their games always translate to the NBA? Obviously not. But I think that some players' games do translate immediately.
Yeah, I think that would be the only reason why the Jazz would give this guy a look. Is a transition point guard. Why Isaiah Collier is the point guard for this team as we, build into the future.
Yeah,
he would be a great backup point guard or a secondary to that, just because he's basically the same player. He's the same height, a little bit smaller on build,
much better shooter,
which is always helpful. But I don't know, man. I just not a big fan of drafting. If he's not playing the point guard, which he'd have to play the point guard, because he's already shorter than Colin Sexton. Like, he's already shorter than him. He's shorter than KG3, but he's taller than Isaiah Collier, by like an inch. So I'm kind of like, we just don't need more short guards. We just don't. There's just not a spot for that.
6'3" is now a short guard.
It is in the NBA. In this NBA, yeah, it is. I'm correct me if I'm wrong in the chat on that one, but yeah. We don't need another one. But honestly, I was looking up a few mock drafts, and they all pretty much matched up similarly to this one that Yahoo Sports did. They have Orlando picking up in the 25th pick, which is, I believe, the last pick in the first round. So my guess
30th.
is... Oh, so there's 30 picks.
30 picks, yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Very late, yeah.
Yeah, so they got him picking 25th in the first round from Orlando. So my guess is that he's probably not going to be there by the second round for Utah, but I could be wrong.
Well, Utah should have a late first.
Well, according to this, they're not going to pick that because of different reasons. They're going after a backup big, I think, according to this article, down that far. But honestly, the most important thing about this Yahoo Sports article and the other two that were saying it, all three of them have Utah Jazz getting the number one pick, by the way. One can only hope, right?
Just everyone, if you have a chance, just make sure that we sacrifice to the basketball gods. Just know we need this. Look at me. We need this.
Just to have him find out the Jazz have the number one pick, and then he just says, "Nope, going back to Duke."
I don't think he would do that, though. I think I could see it happening the other way. I could see Cooper Flag saying, "Okay, if Utah doesn't have the number one pick,
I know he
will go back to Duke."
I know he doesn't want to go with the Wizards, and I know he doesn't want to go
Charlotte.
Like,
you want to go be the LaMelo Ball circus flag?
I don't know, man. That kid can ball.
Oh, LaMelo Ball's fantastic. But LaMelo Ball also comes with. I mean, he's fantastic. I actually really like LaMelo Ball as a player.
I just
But
think the organization just
the
can't get it.
organization is just an absolute trash show. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they've really struggled. They've had number one picks. They've had these great players, and they don't do anything.
No, I think I agree. They're the Charlotte's the Sacramento Kings of the East, man. They just kind of fall into that category.
Yeah.
For me, not quite as bad, but you get my point there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited with it. I think as far as all the three teams, with the exception of potentially San Antonio, which has a 10% chance of getting the number one overall pick. Which, by the way, that would just kill me, man. They get the number one pick last year, get Wemby. They get the number one pick this year, get Coop.
I might stop watching the NBA. We'd have to stop reporting on the NBA.
Like that would just be done. And
if the Jazz don't get the number one pick, I might just like freak out.
I don't understand why a small market team is continuing to be,
Having
the luck.
Everything.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I hear this all the time, like, oh, the reason why Utah is, not in the third year of a rebuild or the third year of a teardown, this is the first year of the rebuild, because Coach Hardy is just too good of a coach. They're winning too many games. Like, excuse me, who coaches the San Antonio Spurs?
Correct. Yeah. It's just, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, arguably the greatest head coach of all time.
Yeah. And if he can lose enough to land Wemby and potentially land Cooper and, do this for the third time in a row.
Have faith.
Seriously, it's not the fact that he's winning too much. I'm sorry. Like, it was just the worst argument. Like, oh, our coach is too good. He wins too much.
It's too good.
Yeah, I hate that. We got Jonathan Blazer saying that next week he's actually going to be off during the show. So that's fantastic, man. Hopefully you're not doing anything with large machinery or anything like that and getting in trouble while you're working.
That would be very bad.
Yeah. So appreciate you joining for the show, man. Appreciate it. Got another comment here from McKinley Cutler saying, I'm hoping the Wolves lose in the play-in, so the pick falls into their pick falls in the lottery, which would make it a Jazz pick. So, which would be awesome. I think it's top 3 protected though, right? McKinley, correct me if I'm wrong, or top 5 protected, something like that.
Which we don't have to worry about that because they're not going to be a bottom 5 team.
Let's see here. Asked on their track records for for ruining number one picks. The Wizards, Pelicans, and Hornets are nightmare teams for young players. Absolutely. And this team has a very good track record of being a competitive team to get yourself into the playoffs when you have talent on it. So
the Jazz,
yeah,
exactly. And the fact is that the Jazz have a great core of players. We're obviously a couple players away from being a competitive, full blown. And it's really tough as a Jazz fan because it's not that long removed. We were the best team in the NBA.
Oh yeah. But I'd argue that it was the Jazz's worst chance to win a title was the year that they had the best record.
Yeah.
They just simply weren't playing for each other anymore, at least a few players on the team anyway.
They were just ridiculously talented. And they were great. I mean, they had a great coach and they were ridiculously talented, and there just wasn't much you could do to beat them. But
the Wolves pick is unprotected. Ooh, that's interesting. That'd be great. Can you imagine?
No, it's still not going to help us because they're not going to be a bottom 5 team.
Well, it doesn't matter if you get 2 picks in the lottery. I mean,
yeah, in the top. Well, it's not going to be lottery. It's going to be in the first round.
Well, he said that if they fall, they could fall into the lottery, is what he was saying. So he says says right here that hoping that the Wolves lose in the play-in, so that pick falls into the lottery. So if they lose in the play-in, I don't know. Do you get a lottery pick if you're losing the play-in tournament?
I mean, you just have to be one of the bottom 15 teams. So technically.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, man. Good catch there, McKinley. Good catch for sure. Once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch Utah Jazz DNA. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away one of those Utah Jazz road jerseys, those mountain road jerseys. It's cool black ones. So once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, please, we'll be giving that away. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss on that giveaway.
Smash it.
And smash that like button for sure. Again, one of the fastest growing YouTube channels on your Utah Jazz. So make sure that you're along for the ride there for sure.
Yes.